Hey there folks, how we doing? This is Not So Livid, and this is another update video because it's been about, actually hold on, am I wearing the exact same shirt that I wore in the last update video? I am. How the heck did I manage that? Alright then, sorry, this is another update video. Because it's been about a month-ish since the last one, so I figured I'd, I don't know, update you guys as to how I'm doing and what sort of stuff is going on. I'm pretty sure in the last one I said I was going to try to make videos. Clearly that didn't really happen, because of some stuff, but, we'll get into that, I guess. So this is going to be kind of a weird update video because there's one thing specifically I want to save to the end because it would be kind of weird to talk about it first and then talk about everything else. So I guess first let's talk about how I'm doing as far as my health. And I'm not really sure. It's still weird because I'll still have like good days and bad days. So since that update video, I have gone. Well, first of all, the update video was recorded and I believe posted on August 27th. And on August 28th, I ended up going into the emergency room at like 9 at night because I was okay. So what I was experiencing was essentially vertigo and really bad migraines along with the other stuff. So it was not fun. So the cramping, I don't even remember anymore. Like honestly, these past 3 months have just kind of just crunched together into just a mess of everything not fun and mostly not good. Oh, and another thing, this was the really weird thing that kind of, I was like, okay, we need to probably go to the emergency room. Is that I got numb arms and legs, but only up to my elbows, both sides, and up to my knees down to toes, fingers down to elbow, both sides for both. And I was like, this is really not, this is weird, and this seems like something that obviously should not be happening normally. And that had happened on Monday as well. Then a few weeks later, like September something, like 10th or something like that, I went to go see a neurologist, and he also couldn't really narrow it down because like part of that's also on me because I have poor recollection of specifics about all the symptoms. So he couldn't like super specify any sort of diagnosis beyond vertigo and migraine. So gave me stuff for that. As for the other stuff, if you're not aware, I've been having some not fun gastrointestinal issues, and those have not been worked out yet. I am going to see a gastroenterologist on the 7th. So, and we've been waiting for like 2 months now to see him, so it's been just great, just awesome. But we're almost there, almost to the 7th. I don't know if I'll put this out today or sometime in the relatively near future, but today is October 2nd, just for reference. But yeah, like I said, good days and bad days. The medication helps most of the time for all the different things, but I'm still definitely not 100%. I mean, there's a lot of things like going on in my body at the moment, and it's taken a long time to figure them all out, and they still have not been figured out. So hopefully soon they will be figured out, and then I can get back to, if not 100%, because I don't know if 100% is gonna be feasible in the future, depending on the diagnoses that I receive. But hopefully I can at least keep around an 80, because 80s have been pretty nice. Something I have also been doing is I've been going out and like trying to at least like do some sort of minor physical activity, which has seemed to help, at least somewhat. Not necessarily with the gastrointestinal stuff, but it has helped kind of with the vertigo sort of stuff going on. And it's really annoying because the vertigo went away for like a week, or maybe even 2. I think like probably like a week and a half, and it just came back with a vengeance very recently, like 2 days ago. And I was like, well, dang, man. I thought I was done with this. I just want to focus on one thing at a time. Stop. I'm fighting a 40 trillion front war, and it's not going so well. And I'm also still thinking anxiety is playing at least a somewhat enough of a role in this that it's worth mentioning, I suppose. Because as I believe I said verbatim in the last one, I'm an anxious person, and like if my head sort of like starts, like if the symptoms and stuff like get in my head, I feel like it just makes them exponentially worse. And I don't know. I mean, I'm doing what I can to not do that, because obviously I've come to the understanding that it's not so good. But it's one of those things where like you can only control it so much, I guess. It's like that thing where it's like where you become aware that like of your involuntary functions, like breathing and stuff. Like once I said that, suddenly you're aware of your breathing now. And it's kind of like that, where it's like if I start to get like a headache, or mainly this is something with the headaches and stuff. If I become like more aware of it, then it becomes generally worse. And I do what I can to distract myself from it, but sometimes it just doesn't work. But yeah, I guess that's how I've been. So still not great. Hopefully, I will get good news in the form of a diagnosis or diagnoses in the near future, and things can start looking up soon. Because I'm getting real tired of this. 3 months, not a fun 3 months. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is, I guess, related to the channel. So, actually, I need to pull something up for this, because I have, like, very minor, I guess they would be notes. They're not really notes, but they're kind of notes. Okay. So like I said in the last update video, did I say this? I think I said this. I'm pretty sure I said this. Because I think that I talked... Sorry, mouth broke. Because I think that I talked about the channel at least a little towards the end, maybe. But I honestly don't remember. Also because I recorded that twice. And also I've recorded this one twice. Because I recorded this a few days ago. And it was very, I don't know, I would say emotionally driven for reasons. And this one also kind of is, I guess. But less so than the other one. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, like I said in the other one, I have a big backlog that I have to start chipping through. These are all videos from, like, I think at this point they're all from, like, June. It's, like, almost 30 videos, I believe. So it's all of the first Wind Waker run, all the rest of Little Nightmares, and I would say the majority of a second Wind Waker run that has yet to be finished, because I haven't played any games in a couple of months now. For fairly obvious reasons, I would assume. But regarding those, I hope to be getting back into it sometime soon-ish. Barring anything else unfortunate. And obviously these things will, like, vary by day, depending on how I feel on a given day. Whether or not I'm up to the task of editing. Which, not that it's like a tough thing to do. But I mean, staring at a screen for extended periods of time, just sitting in a chair, is not always something my body is okay with right now. So we'll see. We'll see how things go still. But I will try my hardest to get sort of back into it. I have like half of the next Wind Waker video. Excuse me. That's another thing that kind of is part of this. I have like half of the next Wind Waker video edited, but I never got around to finishing it. I don't even know if it's half. I honestly, it's been almost a month since probably a month actually, since I started editing any of that. So, yeah, I don't know. All I can say is I'll do what I can, because I want to make videos, and it gives me something to do besides nothing and walking around, which is nice. But yeah, we'll take it as it comes. As for the future of the channel, here are a few plans I have for the future. So there are, I don't know, a few kind of just one-off videos I want to make that I'm not going to really be super specific about. And I don't know, they'd just be for fun and because I want to. And for literally no reason other than that. And these would be just, they wouldn't even like be necessarily gaming videos. They'd probably be gaming related, but not even necessarily gaming videos. But yeah, I have one plan for one of those right now, and I'll probably come up with more. Second thing, whenever I get around to finishing editing Little Nightmares, and also I'm probably gonna tone back the editing in Little Nightmares just so I can get it up. Poor phrasing. Just so I can get the videos out. in a relatively quick fashion, because, sorry, I'm messing with my hair a lot. I do that all the time, because I think I'm subconsciously, like I said, an anxious person, subconsciously anxious, even though I'm just talking to nobody. I'm talking to a webcam and a mic, so I don't know. I'm a weirdo. But the Little Nightmares thing wasn't related to what I was actually going to say. But I am gonna tone back the editing on those. I would say fairly significantly. They're gonna be edited more similarly to the Wind Waker ones. I'll put a bit more effort into them than the Wind Waker ones because of the webcam and stuff, but it won't be nearly as much as I was doing for the first 2 episodes. Have I only put up 2 episodes? Yeah, I have only put up 2 episodes. Wow, that's disappointing. But yeah, this isn't gonna be a BioShock where it takes me like a year and a half to finish it. This is gonna be, but also it's a shorter game, so it's kind of like a BioShock. If we scale down time it takes for me to upload the videos relative to the time it takes me to complete the game, it might be kind of a BioShock in that it takes me 1,000 years to get it up. Again, phrasing. My brain's not fully functional at the moment. My apologies. But the main thing, the thing I actually wanted to talk about, related, that I just sort of segued away from, is the series that I have planned to replace. What did we replace? Not really replace. To come after Little Nightmares is done is another Pokemon game. Yay! Because that went so well the first time. Recorded, I don't know, 20 episodes, if that. Not even 20 episodes, closer to 15, I think. And for those of you unfamiliar, I'm referring to my failed attempt at a Fire Red Nuzlocke. I think what happened, I think this is when my computer sort of had a bit of a temper tantrum and would not boot. And as a result, I lost literally everything that I had on it that had not been backed up to some sort of cloud storage or anything like that, because I was a dumb person and I didn't partition my drive, so I just had a big ol' C drive with everything on it, and in order to get it to work, well, so I should say it would boot, it would not boot into Windows, which is the main problem that it had. And this was like almost, maybe even more than 3 years ago at this point, which is weird to think about. But yeah, basically I just had to fresh install Windows off of well, first off, I had to buy a new Windows key and a recovery USB, Windows recovery USB, and had to just clean install Windows, and lost everything, including the save for the Fire Red Nuzlocke. So that series ended very abruptly. But anyways, we're not gonna be doing any sort of Nuzlocke or anything. We're gonna do a normal playthrough of what I would say is my favorite Pokemon game, which is, well, kind of my favorite Pokemon game. My favorite Pokemon game with a twist. We're gonna play Pokemon Crystal, but not just any Pokemon Crystal. We're gonna play Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, which you may have heard of. So, from what I understand, it is actually, I'll look it up, just to fact check myself. Okay, so Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, it's Pokemon Crystal. So, and originally this was like an actual like cartridge thing. So, some people, nobody really knows who exactly, had Japanese Pokemon Crystal cartridges. And what they did is they translated it from Japanese to English, and circulated them in Vietnam, I believe, hence Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal. So what is believed, I believe, there's a lot of believing going on here, is that the Japanese game was translated to English by people who don't really know English. And there's solid evidence to back this up, the evidence being the games themselves. Because the whole thing with Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal is it is possibly the worst English translation of a game ever. Because, I mean, it's really bad, from what I understand. I have not played it myself. I've seen, like, screenshots of it. Like, I'm looking at a Kotaku article right now, something I'd rather not be doing, because I don't much care for Kotaku. But I can probably just put the screenshot in this video. So, it is a Totodile fighting a Pidgey. I have no idea if the Totodile is nicknamed, but the text is... So, 2 lines of text. The Totodile is using Scratch, is what's happening. And the lines of text are Croc. That's the first line of text. Croc, C-R-O-C. And the second line of text is Scrah, which is obviously supposed to be Scratch, but it's not Scratch, it's Scrah. So everything in the game is very badly translated. Also, the Pidgey's name is Lab, which is not the name of Pidgey. The name of Pidgey is Pidgey. So I just think this would be kind of a fun game to play through. And honestly, it would make it more enjoyable for me, because, I mean, this is probably Pokemon Crystal is probably the game that I actually have the most hours ever playing. Not like I've played it more than anybody else, but as far as the games I've played, it is the game I have played most. So for reference, the last file, and actually I did this in the other recording of this update, and I'm gonna do it again. I will return in a moment. Hello, darkness. Your boy's got some presents, but sadly, it's only a visual present. I have my Pokemon Crystal. I should probably like put this in the camera, and this is gonna be like way out of focus, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be way out of focus. Can I do anything about that? Can I like? I don't want to, because then I'm gonna have to refocus it, and this webcam is obnoxious to focus. I also have a copy of Pokemon Go. Gen 2 represent. Where you at, boys? Gen 2 best gen. Probably. In my opinion, I would say it's the best. Or at the worst, it is second best. to the second iteration of Gen 5. But I still think Gen 2 is better. It is close, but I think Gen 2 is better. But yeah, I have so many hours on this cartridge, and this somehow this cartridge had. So for those of you unfamiliar, how these worked is the save data was I don't know exactly, but basically stored in what is essentially just RAM, I guess. So in other words, volatile memory. So if the battery on the cartridge chip ever runs out, you lose the data. That was remedied in GBA. If the battery runs out, you can still play the games, but stuff like the thing that comes to mind is like time functionality, like time in like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Like I think I actually have a dead Ruby cartridge. I think I have a dead Pokemon Ruby cartridge, but I could still like boot it up and play it if I wanted to, because the only thing that wouldn't work is time-based events, because the internal battery is what handles like clock events and stuff like that. But not the case in this one. Battery handles everything. And sadly, I think only like 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was only like 2 years ago, which is ridiculous. Well, first of all, 2 or 3 years ago, the battery in this specific cartridge died. You can get replacement batteries and stuff, but like I don't really feel a need to. I mean, it's basically just a dead hunk of PCB and plastic at this point, but I don't know. Like I could just, don't tell like Nintendo, but I could also just like play it on an emulator, and that's actually what I'm gonna do for Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal. That's gonna be our little secret, okay? But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about how long I've played this. And what I was gonna say is, the last save file that was on this, I had, I believe, at least for in-game time, I had well over 200 hours. Probably like 230 hours in that save file alone, in this. And obviously I'd had that save file for a while. I did a lot of things in the game. I got my first, this is the game where I got my first level 100, legit, no action replay or anything. I think I only ever got one level 100, which was my starter. But I also basically completed as much of the Pokedex as I could. I had like, I think it ended up being something like 202 Pokemon owned. Some of that was done by like transferring, obviously, from like this one, and I believe from Pokemon Yellow, I think I also transferred stuff from, because so I was one of those kids who just did all the trading with himself and not his friends. Because I had 2 Game Boy Advances, and I had a link cable. So I would just hook them both up, and I'd just trade them across. Basically, moral of the story is Pokemon Crystal is the best game of all time. And we're going to play a bootleg version of it. And so what I'm going to do, sort of for nostalgia purposes for me, is I'm going to be playing it with, to the best of my knowledge, the first team I ever had when I played Pokemon Crystal. Or at least, maybe not the first team I had, probably not the first team I had, but the first team I remember having in Pokemon Crystal. And I don't think I'm going to tell you what the team is, because then it can be kind of a mystery. I know, so the one thing, I know for sure the first 5 members of the team, but I'm a little iffy on who the, that was a gross noise. Where did that come from? That was like a tongue click, but like in my throat. Ugh. But I know like 100% the first 5 members of the team. Like those I remember for sure. And I may do things to like slightly modify them. So like ones that I may not have evolved fully, I may evolve fully. Because I believe that's the case with at least 2 of them. Actually, I think with 3 of them. One of them I may do something a little cheaty so he can evolve. Because he evolves by trade. Hint hint. So I may do something like enable impossible evolutions, which is a setting in the randomizer, which I would not use to randomize the game, because I'm not going to randomize the game, but I would use it to allow trade evolutions to occur at, I believe it's level 37, which I would like to do, just to have the best team I can have. Not that this is a hard game. This is probably one of the easiest games, other than the fight with Red at the end. That one's a little tough sometimes. So as far as the 6 Pokemon, I have an idea of what it might be, but I'm not 100% on it. So I may just kind of make it up and do something like one of my favorite Pokemon from the gen. Holy cow, this is a long update video, and there's still more things to talk about because I keep getting distracted. Sorry. Okay. Next thing. Whenever, and this is 100% gonna happen at some point. I don't know when, because I don't know when it's coming out, but when Halo comes to PC, we are absolutely playing through all of them. I believe the ones coming to PC are Reach 1, 2, and 3, and not 4 or 5, which is fine because I don't really like 4 or 5. So I think the series peaked at Reach, to be quite honest. Oh, they might have ODST too. ODST's freaking amazing. As far as like story goes, which is super cool. I hope ODST is included, because I'd love to play through that. I haven't played that in, I don't know, probably since it came out. I played through it with one of my friends. And I've also kind of recently become aware that from what I've heard, a semi-decent chunk of my very small audience doesn't really care for Halo. To you guys, I apologize. But nevertheless, I will play all the Halo games on PC as soon as they show up, because it is hands down my favorite FPS, and actually like one of the only FPSs that I enjoy. Actually, it's probably like one of the only shooters I enjoy. Never got into Call of Duty, never got into CSGO or CS Source or anything like that. I played a bit of TF2, but I don't know. I'm just bad at it. Things like battle royales and stuff don't interest me, so things like, as far as me playing them, I'm fine with watching them, but I don't have any desire to play them in the slightest. So things like Apex, Fortnite, Overwatch, all those sorts of things, I have zero interest in playing for some reason. But for whatever reason, probably because I grew up playing it, and all my friends at school grew up playing it, and all my friends in my neighborhood grew up playing it. I'm a Halo boy through and through, so it will be played whenever it comes out, which I've said probably 7 times now. But yeah, I don't know when they're coming out, but as far as I'm concerned, they can take as long as they want to come out with them, because we don't want another Master Chief Collection debacle, because that was not so good. That was a little dicey for a few months. But anyways, that's something to either dread or look forward to in the future, depending on your opinions on, I guess, me and the Halo series. But it's gonna happen, because I can't stand to let that first Halo series that I made exist without a better version of it also existing on the channel. So for my own sake, it has to be done. I believe that's all I really wanted to talk about as far as the channel is concerned. If you guys have any other suggestions or ideas for things related to what I said or not related to what I said, feel free to just drop them in the comments or spam me on Twitter or something at NotSoLivid. Are there underscores? I don't even know my own at. Yeah, at not_so_livid. It does have underscores in it, because I believe Not So Livid was taken. So yeah, you can hit me up wherever if you have things you want me to do or not do, which I may or may not listen to, because it's my channel and I can do what I want. Alright, hope you guys are ready for an extreme tonal shift. There's one thing that I've saved until this point to talk about, because I knew it would not be a fun thing to talk about. So I didn't want to transition from a not fun thing into high energy version of me that you just saw. So this morning, we had to put down our cat, which is not fun, obviously. So some of you may be aware, but for those of you unaware, I think it was last summer, she got really sick, and we took her into the vet, and she was diagnosed with kidney disease. So we had like medicine that we would give her every day. Obviously, the medicine could only do so much, but up until about, actually like almost exactly a week ago, I believe, she was doing, I mean, as far as how she could be doing, she was doing well. Obviously, age was starting to take effect, because at this point she was 18 years old. We got her in 2001. Actually, how we found her was kind of weird. So it was me, and at that time I was 5, I believe, 4 going on 5, or what would I have been? 4 going on 5. Yeah, I would have been 4, and soon to be 5. It was me, my mom, and my sister, I believe, because I think my dad was at work, probably. We were walking to a playground at a local elementary school, and so the playground's like behind the school, so we have to walk down the school driveway to get to the playground. And as we're walking, there's a box off to the side of the sidewalk, and in that box is a little kitten, who at that point was probably only a few weeks old at most, and she took quite the shining to us, and obviously we're not gonna just leave a little helpless kitten, abandoned. So she came home with us, and me being 4 years old, at the time my favorite nursery rhyme was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, so her name became Twinkle, middle name Star. I'm very creative, I know. So that was her name. Her name was Twinkle. Needless to say, my dad was quite surprised to get a call from my mom saying, we have a cat now. This morning we did not, and now we do. So nothing you can do about it. She's always been on the small side, but she was always extremely, she had an attitude is the best way to say it. She's feisty, and very stubborn, but it really gave her personality, which I appreciated. But again, like I said, last summer, she was diagnosed with kidney disease, which it's a terminal sentence, because it's gonna be the thing, barring unfortunate accidents, that ends your life, regardless of what species you are. About a week ago, she, like, very sort of suddenly just stopped eating and refused to eat. So that went on until, and so the thing was, just because of how she is, we knew that this was it. Sometime soon she was gonna be gone, because, I mean, if you're not eating, you're gonna die. That's what happens if you don't eat food. So we knew this was kind of like something. She was gonna be gone within the next few weeks, at the very most. Our thing was, as long as she is not, as far as we can tell, in pain, we're just gonna let her do it her way, because she hates the vet. She hates any sort of stuff like that. She hates being moved around in her carrier. She screams and complains a bunch, and is very uncooperative. So why would we take her somewhere that would just stress her out if she's gonna die? We'll let her do it on her own terms. So that's what we were doing. But if at any point it became clear that she was suffering, to the point where she was like in invisible pain, not invisible, invisible pain, we'd take her in and just have her put down, because I'm not gonna just let her suffer. That's extremely cruel to do. And so she was, I don't know, she's got a freaking heck of a willpower, this cat. So she would, obviously, like, not having food, it clearly was taking effect on her, but she's got a freaking willpower beyond anything I've ever seen in my life. And she would still, like, even as late as, like, last night, she would still manage to, no. I think what I'm gonna actually do here is I'm gonna shoot from my phone for a second, just for perspective, sort of thing, and then we will return to this. Okay? Okay. Alright, hello. This is Phone Jacob. Nice to meet you. Dude, ISO's going freaking crazy with all this chaos lighting that's happening right now. Also, am I able to flip cameras when I'm recording? No, that's an issue. So goodbye for a second. Okay, there we go. You get to look at our carpet for a little bit. Like I was saying, this cat had the strongest of willpowers. So that's her carrier over there. That's where she spent a lot of the past few days, just sort of hanging out in there and sleeping. And originally it was right here, as you can probably tell. So this cat, I don't even understand how she could do it. So, like I said, not eating, and I don't know, at this point for like a week, not eating. She would still somehow stand up in her little carrier, walk out, and then she'd walk down the hallway into my parents' room, which I'm going to try to show very little of. And holy cow, maybe turn on the light, you freaking dummy. And she'd come over here to her litter box and somehow managed to get, first of all, in the litter box. It's a pretty tall litter box, which is impressive. She'd get in the litter box, use the bathroom somehow, and then she'd jump out and land as if nothing had happened. And she'd walk her way back. I mean, obviously it would take her sometimes quite a bit to make her way there and back, but she would do it unassisted. And I don't understand how. How could you do that if you haven't eaten anything for a week and have been existing off of literally just water from here and over here? Something she liked was cup water, as we call it. For some reason, and normally it would be, instead of down here, it'd be sitting up here. Right there. And she'd come over here, jump up here, jump up there, and then just sit right here and drink from her cup water. It'd make her happy. And I don't know why she liked it, but she loved it. Loved drinking water from her cup. Alright, we back. I don't know why, but I figured just showing you that would give you more perspective as to the only word for it is just willpower that she had. She was like, if I want to do this, I'm gonna do this, and you're not gonna stop me from doing it. Literally, like, up until the very end. That's just how she was. But yeah, so this morning, I don't know when it started. It was very early this morning, I believe. She started to get very sick. And it was the first time that we could, like, tell that she was, like, hurting from this. So, I mean, like I said, as long as she's not in pain and not suffering, we'd let her do her thing. But as soon as she in pain, we're gonna take the lead on this one, and make things easier for her. Not crying, got hair in my eye. Yeah, basically, my mom came in and woke me up at around, I think, 7 this morning, to tell me, hey, she's not doing well at all. We are going to take her in and have her put down. And so half asleep me quickly becomes very much awake, and gets out of bed and goes out to check on her, and she's just laying there. I mean, at this point, I think what it was like her organs were starting to just shut down, and she was losing, like, control over like any of it, really. And I don't know. I don't really care to get into much more detail as to how bad she was feeling, because I cared to not dwell on it, really. He says as he makes a video about it. And if you couldn't tell, this is the emotionally driven part of the video that I talked about at the beginning. And it was very emotionally driven in the other scrapped version of this update video, which essentially covered all this same stuff and is surprisingly almost like the exact same length. But basically, yeah, we managed to get her in her carrier, close her in, which she was not too pleased about, but I mean, what are you gonna do? It's not like there's any other way we were ever gonna get her anywhere. like I said, strong will. So yeah, sometime around like 7:15 at the latest, this morning, my dad took her, put her in the car, and drove her to, I don't know where exactly he drove her to. The specifics are not going to be divulged for location reasons, obviously. But he took her somewhere. They were essentially closed, or like the doctor didn't get in until 8. I believe her doctor. I don't know if pets have specific doctors. I would assume they do. But her specific doctor was not in until 8. So they gave another location that was 24/7. So he took her there, and that's where she was put down sometime around no later than 8 o'clock in the morning, I believe. So they're going to cremate her, and this is something that they do, which is really nice. They make, like, you know, like, I can't think of a good example, but you know, like, how, holy cow, I literally just can't think of an example of what I'm trying to talk about. Oh man. Basically, they're gonna make like a little stone sort of clay thing with her paw print on it, and we're gonna get that back, which is a nice little thing just to help keep her in memory, because she deserves to be in memory. So yeah, this is obviously why I saved it for the end, because it's not really, can't really, this is a tough thing to segue out of, I guess. As far as how I'll handle this, I am not sure how I'll handle it. She wasn't the first pet we've had, technically, but as far as I'm really concerned, she's my first real pet, because we had a dog when I was too young to remember. We had to get rid of her because she didn't like children, which is a problem when you're a child. And then we adopted a stray also when I was very young, like 2 or 3 maybe. And stray cat, obviously, I would assume that's what you would think it is. And it is. Stray cat, her name was Lexi. We didn't have her for very long because she got very sick and we had to put her down. We had her for like no more than maybe a year. And then Twinkle is the only pet I really have any memories of. I mean, all my memories of Sandy, the dog, and Lexi, the cat, are through pictures. I have no, like, experiential memories with either of them. But clearly, I mean, obviously, I have plenty with Twinkle, given that she's been with me for 18 years and a few months of my life, which is an extreme majority of it. And I've always been very close with her for various reasons. First being, well, I'm just a pet kind of person in general. I love pets, love animals, always have. Some more than others. Like I prefer cats over dogs. You can scream at me if you want. It's okay, because that just means that you're wrong and I'm right. And cats are better than dogs. But I've also, obviously, 18 years, spent a lot of time with Twinkle. And the fact that she had such a, I would say, powerful, strong personality, only made me love her even more. Because it really gave her like a character, and made her really part of the family. And it's been great having her around during this other health stuff, because as a result, I've been spending a lot of time here at my house just like by myself. But having her around was nice. The company was very nice, and it helped make a lot of the stuff I've gone through so far considerably more manageable, I would say. Because having a pet is always just a nice little comfort to have with you. But I guess I'm gonna have to go through the rest on my own, which is fine. Obviously, I would rather that she be okay and still be here. But clearly, the best thing for her was to just what's the right way to say this? You know what I mean. I was gonna transition out of this like 20 minutes ago, but clearly I got a little sidetracked. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say on that matter. I did put out a tweet announcing, first of all, that she was very sick and only probably had a few days left in her. A few days ago I put that out, and then this morning I tweeted out about having about her passing, and as is custom on Twitter, you are all free and I don't know, I don't even know what I said in the tweet. You're welcome to send me as many pet/animal pictures as you wish, because I believe it is Twitter custom to shower those who have lost pets with pictures of pets of your own or something. Feel free to do that. It won't I mean, the only thing it could do is make me happier. But I believe that is everything I have to say. We're going to end on a sour note, sadly, but I feel like this is the only real way I could structure this, because I didn't want to talk about this first, I didn't want to talk about it in the middle, so the end was really the only logical place left to talk about it. But I'm going to end off this video with a video that I made back in, I believe, 2013, 2014. one of the 2 years. I think it was 2013. I'm pretty sure. I think it was my junior year. I think it was my junior year in high school. And in junior year, I took a class called Video Productions, and you can probably already tell where this is going. But in Video Productions, you produce videos, and this was also my first sort of introduction to any sort of video editing and stuff like that. And that's where I found that I really enjoyed the editing process far more than the planning out like a script and all that stuff, which even though that can be fun occasionally, but it's not really sorry, my hair's a mess as usual. It's not really as much my thing as just doing fun stuff with editing, which I still love to do. But one of the videos that we had to make was a highlight video. I will, for the sake of not giving out a bunch of my classmates' names, I will cut probably the credits. I don't care if my name's in it though. That doesn't matter. I've already said my name in a video, I believe. And if you want to dox me, go find that video. Have fun. I know which one it is. I'm not going to tell you though. You crazies. But one of the videos we had to make was a highlight video. And for that video, I made a highlight video of Twinkle. Back when she was a spry young... How old would she have been? She would have been like 12 at that point. Which is... I mean, cats normally live between like 15 to 25 years. So also, we definitely didn't get shortchanged out of our little feist ball of a kitten. But anyways, yeah, made a highlight video. If you oh, this is gonna so I'm sure everyone's familiar with Big Bang Theory. Opinion on it has shifted severely, I would say, since that time, for a lot of people. But back then, I was fine with the show, and I'm sure you are also, if you're familiar with the show, you're familiar with Sheldon. So, Sheldon, I don't even know what it exactly was, but I believe like his mom would sing him like a lullaby, and the lullaby was soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur, soft sleepy something sleepy kitty, purr purr purr. I don't know exactly what it was, but the only important words were soft kitty, because I found a like a dubstep parody of soft kitty, and I used that as the basis for my entire 2-minute highlight video. So I'm gonna throw that in at the end of this. You can watch it or you cannot. I might also, I have it on my channel too. Oh, but I can't really set it live because then the whole like doxing all my friends and classmates and stuff. This is not a good call. So I may trim it and set it live as its own video too, but I will include it at the end of this, which is like almost right now, as soon as I end this and say goodbye things. But yeah, it's just it's a terrible video, but it's the first video I really experimented with editing also. So it's cool to see how I've grown from the dark days of single timelines in iMovie, using tons of stock effects, to where I've come now, using Vegas and doing a lot of things that I think are, at least for my skill level, good. Things that I'm happy with, which is cool. It's cool to see that. But yeah, I need to end this video. I've been recording for almost, this is a 2-hour video that I will hopefully cut down to no more than 20 something minutes. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching and sticking around, specifically to my boy Trippy. Videos will be coming, don't you worry. They'll come as soon as you hit me with those diss track lyrics or whatever you were talking about in Crotus's stream the other day. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird way to end this. And no offense to you, Trippy, but I don't expect you to even watch this far, so that's fine if you don't even see this. But I said it, so it counts, even if you don't see it. That's all I gotta say. Sorry to have another sad update video, hopefully. Unfortunately, unlike the last one, I don't have a video primed and ready to go up with this, which would be nice to have, but I do not. But hopefully, sometime in the next few days, I'll be able to get something rolling that's less depressing. And you'll soon be back to videos from me before all this stuff happened, where I'm in a much better place physically, and I would say mentally as well, a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys, love y'all, and I will see you with, will hopefully be a happy video, whether it be another update or the next Little Nightmares or Wind Waker video. So I already said this, but see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Drop the beat. Get it in.